does it mean to die?
To die means to change form. You are the same, you're just changing a form. Your physical body disintegrates, but your spiritual body does not. My name is Dorothy Emery. I was born Dorothy Ann Moss, M-O-S-S. I went to college, married a Greek, which was a terrible mistake, and became Dorothy Comnenellis. But now I am Dorothy Emery and have been so happily for the last 40-something years. Next month I will be 88 years old. Oh yes, and I'm here to talk about death.
How would you define a spiritual body? Like, what is that?
What is that? We all have a spirit in us. We're born with a spirit, a good spirit, not a ghost or anything. I would define that as love. We're born with love inside of us. Now, sometimes that gets besmirched with relationships and alcohol and drugs, and a lot of other things can cloud all of that, but it's still in there. My spirit is from God, and it will go back to God, but it will change form. I do believe in reincarnation, and I have some examples of that, maybe. So we change. It's a frequency thing. We're here, we're vibrating at this level, and if we change form, we may be vibrating down here or up here. We may be angels or some higher vibration person up here. But it's a question of frequency.
Do you then believe in what we would consider the afterlife?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
What is that to you?
What is the afterlife? Well, let me put it this way. There's a veil between me and my mother who's passed. It's just a veil. It's very thin, flimsy little veil. And she's here, and I'm here. And if the frequency is right between us, we can actually talk to each other. Not lengthy, but we can communicate across the veil. It doesn't happen all the time. With my mother, it's only happened twice. But there are, let's see, what was the question?
The afterlife. What is the afterlife?
It's our next life. There's a little I picture them on the seaside, on the shore of something. There is a little group of people who happen to have been relatives. I guess they're still relatives, not distinguished, not spiritual in any way, but they are relatives, and they're on the other side of that veil, and they're waiting for me. There's a place for me. And they're waiting, and they're sending good energy to me. There's only good energy on the other side.
How do you talk to them?
Oh, you write pen and paper, okay? You write down, good morning, how are you, la la la, what's happening? You write, and you can write them questions. Do you have physical food where you are? And then you put the pen in your other hand, and the other hand starts writing. And they answer you. Like, no, there isn't, they have water, but they don't need food. So they answer. And then it's your turn, and you can ask them something else. Now, this takes a lot of energy on both sides, on my side and on their side. So this isn't something that I do every day or every week, but about maybe once a month I'll sit down and we'll talk with this writing back and forth. We're sent here not as punishment, but as an opportunity to grow our soul. We have a soul. You have a soul. And most of the time it just sits here and rides along with us. But sometimes we will get a hunger to know more, to learn more. Who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I here?
What have you learned?
What have I learned?
About yourself. Why are you here?
I'm here to love other people. Some of them really, really need it. My husband was talking about we see with our eyes and we see with our heart. And he gave this example at a sermon recently. He said he and I were walking, had dinner, we were walking on the street down in Westport, and there were a lot of people there. There were these people sitting on a stone wall. And he said, we were just walking along, and then I suddenly realized I was alone. Where's Dorothy? Well, he turned around, and I was back there talking to a young woman that was sitting on the wall. He saw with his eyes. He saw people sitting on the wall. I saw with my heart that one of them was very upset. And I turned around and I went back and we talked a little bit and I hugged her and it was okay. But that's called seeing with your heart. I mean, did I know her? No, I didn't know her. But I felt her need. Okay?
Have you always been like that?
Have I always been that way? Probably not. It's something that I've learned as I've grown older. But, okay, when I was a little child, I remember praying, please don't let me be like everybody else. That was my prayer. I remember praying that. And then there's been times when I've said, oh, God, well, let me be like everybody else. But no, but I prayed that and I think God honored that I am not like everybody else. I made some snide remark about the Greek. Okay, so he's been gone for like 20 years or something. But not too long ago, I was up early and my husband calls it meditating, I call it prayer, I don't know, we're just quiet and suddenly I heard his voice. And he said, Dorothy, have you forgiven me? And I said, I forgave you a long time ago. And then he was gone. I didn't see him, but his voice was there. Now, this is a guy who's dead, right? He's dead, except he isn't. His spirit isn't, or he wouldn't be wanting to make amends in his life. So his spirit is out there making amends. That is making amends is a term from Alcoholics Anonymous. Are you familiar with that at all? The 12-step program, is it the first step? I don't know which step it is, but one of those steps is you go back to the people in your life that you have harmed in some way, and you ask forgiveness. And then you're free to go on. Well, the Greek wasn't free. I don't know why, but he wasn't. And he wanted to be sure that I had forgiven him. I mean, this is true stuff, okay? I'm not making this up. And once I said I had forgiven him, then he didn't hang around to visit. He His spirit was off someplace else. But the point is, his spirit is out there, and your mother's spirit is out there. I hope not as tortured as this guy's was. But there's a whole universe of people, dead people. My mother was an unhappy person much of the time. Um, there was a great deal of distance between my mother, um, time wise. She was a late child of my grandmother, obviously, and then I was a late child of my mother, which puts my grandmother back in the 1850s, a long time of changing attitudes and changing whatever. I didn't fulfill what mother thought a daughter ought to do. Um, and she was hurt by that, and I was hurt by that. I have come to believe from my friends on the other side that there is, they don't call it rehab, but there is a place of intense love. When tortured souls get there, it's a place of intense love in which they are healed, because love does heal. Love heals. And so mother went into rehab for a while, and now she's out and with the others waiting for me on the shore, and they said that she now understands that you did love her, or you do love her. So I think a lot of people need to go to rehab, and will go to rehab. Just intense love, because that love changes things, and it will change them too.
What was the first time in your life that you were forced to confront the fact that you are going to die?
Forced to confront the fact that I'm going to die. I don't know. I can't answer that. Something like I've always known that this is a temporary gig.
Okay. Well, then here's a question. How do you feel now about the fact that you are going to be dead?
Oh, I'm happy. Let's do it. I, I'm not, if there's a lot of pain involved, then I have questions. But as far as changing my form into another form whose knees don't hurt, I'm all for it. My friends will be there. Jesus will be there. We'll have a party. And then maybe we'll go on to some other assignment where I'm here because I was assigned to be here. Okay. And anyway, I don't. Do I fear it? No, I don't fear it.
Have you ever been close to dying before?
I have had several out-of-body experiences. None of them have been recent. They were more 20, 30 years ago. Okay, well, no, the first one that I had, I was in the dentist chair. And he was drilling and drilling and drilling, and I remember thinking, I wish I weren't here. And then the next moment, the dentist was there, my body was there, but I was up here feeling really calm and relaxed, and no anxiety that I was feeling in the chair. But it was really calming, and then the drill stopped and I was back in my body again. So I think that's the first one. But I have had others where it's like your soul or your spirit, I don't know, takes a vacation.
How is an out-of-body experience being close to death? How are they related?
I don't know. I don't think that I knew, okay, there, at some point in your life when you start educating yourself on metaphysical things, they will talk about a golden cord that connects us to God. And at that time when I am above the dentist chair, first thing I thought was, oh, is my cord here? Because if I didn't have a cord, then I had died in my thinking at that time. But my cord was there, so everything was fine. And then I went back to my body.
How would be the perfect way for you to die, in your opinion? What's the best way?
Quickly. I think that would be the, you know, if my spirit is ready, then let's just go. Because I'm not afraid to die. I will welcome it under the right circumstances. I will welcome it. I mean, my kids don't need me anymore. The grandkids would love to see me, but they don't have a great need for me. I don't care if it's a car wreck, or I just don't want to languish in bed for months and months and months. That does not sound like fun at all. But if God wants me to, if Jesus wants me to, I'll do it, but I'd rather not.
What will your legacy be?
Oh, well, I hope that it'll be one of love.
Yeah.
That, yeah, as I said, I have 7 grandsons, 2 or 3 granddaughters, but I hope that they will remember me as a source of love. When they're little bitty, yes, but when they're older, I think maybe if they take a minute and look back, they'll remember that Grandma was always kind. Just like you talked about your mother being always kind, right? That's a legacy. You have a legacy.